Hey everyone, I am having some technical difficulties. Hold on one second. I need to make sure that I am live so that you guys can see me. My YouTube literally just popped me out while I was in the process of going live, and now I can't see if I'm live with you guys. So hold on. There we are. We are live. All right, yay! Sorry about that, you guys. All right, thank you for bearing with me. Welcome to my channel. If you are brand new, I am so glad to have you here. And if you are a subscriber or a member, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. Before we get started, if you could do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up, I would be forever grateful. So we've been talking a lot on this channel about the Dillards and the Duggards, the D's. The Duggar Dillards. And Jill being the second oldest of the girls, actually the fourth child of the family, with Josh, Jana, and John David being ahead of her. Jill has been married to Derek for several years. They have two children, Samuel and Israel, and they are basically shunned from the family at this point in time. But nobody in the Duggar family has really said much of anything publicly about this in a long time, or even addressed the things that Derek has been dropping all over Instagram and on Twitter. And if you are new to this stream, basically, like, high level, Derek has made a lot of accusations claiming that Jim Bob doesn't pay the children, the kids were forced to volunteer, pressured into filming, that Jill didn't want to film at all following what happened in 2015 when everything went down, where it was exposed that Josh had victimized his sisters, and also the stuff related to old police reports being brought in by the media, published on In Touch and other outlets. And Jill just didn't want to do it. And he said that they were forced to do it under threat of legal threat. They never got paid. He claims they weren't paid for their wedding episodes or for their birth specials where she delivered on camera. And with all of that being said, he has been sort of like the voice for Jill as she is, and he has been outright and very vocal about how she is a victim and this family has just kind of silenced her. All right. So then I started thinking about, okay, this happens a lot in these sort of Fundy families where somebody sort of deviates from the rules, right? And the rules in this world are that women are always responsible for what other men are doing. So if something happens to a woman that's involves inappropriate touching, it's always the fault of the woman because she defrauded the boy, right? So what was the girl wearing? What was she doing? Where was she? Did she look a certain way? Was she doing a certain thing? Was she being suggestive? And then when the boy admits to what he's done, it's never his fault. It's mostly like, well, it's because they were doing this, right? Because that's what Bill Gothard teaches through the Institute of Basic Life Principles. It's always the victim's fault. And so this has been drilled into the girls. They've learned to minimize what happened to them. And when they were interviewed by Megyn Kelly, it was very clear that they had been coached and had been rehearsed. When Jill and Jessa spoke with her about what happened, they minimized what happened to them and basically said that they loved their brother despite everything. And, it was just no big deal. Okay. But it was a bigger deal to them that the information had been made public because they were over it. Except when this kind of stuff happens in a family and things get hidden and nobody talks about it and nobody gets help, you aren't over it. So then I started thinking about, okay, Michelle and Jim Bob have a website, and then they also have their active Instagram where they share photos constantly on their social media. Michelle, it's very clear that Michelle runs the social media, and when you look through everything, you can see that she does a really, really good job of, when things happen in the family, she uses her Instagram photos to share information about celebrating birthdays and weddings and birth announcements and gender reveals and all of those things. And when you go through it, you'll see that she does all of these things. So when I was going through her stuff, I noticed on her Instagram, she has things like happy birthday to Justin. Happy 29th birthday to John, David, and Jana. And I just try to pick out stuff like that happened within the last year and a couple months, okay? Happy birthday to our third born son, Joseph. Happy birthday to Israel. Now, noted this is actually Jill's son, but she says nothing about Jill here, so just keep that in mind. So happy birthday to our grandson, Israel, his 4th birthday. And then she does a lot of stuff with Ginger. Like, Ginger is on her Instagram so much. In fact, Ginger and Jessa are both on her Instagram so much. It's almost like they might be the favorite girls, okay? Because they're part of Counting On. And then happy birthday, Marcus. Happy 18th birthday, James. Happy 4th birthday, Meredith. Happy birthday, Jim Bob. Happy birthday, Jennifer. A love note to Ben for no reason. You're such a good, wonderful dad. Yay, you know. Happy birthday, Josiah. We're so glad that Jason made it home. You know, like, oh, here's Ginger. They visited her. You know, like, happy birthday, Joanna. Happy birthday, Joy. Happy birthday, Jessa. Announcements for Kendra and Joseph's baby. Happy birthday, Austin. Did you notice in all of this, there was 2 children that were missing? Josh and Jill. Neither one of them are on the show. Happy birthday, Jordan. And happy birthday, Ginger. Okay? And then there's their Christmas stuff. So as I'm looking through this, and happy birthday to the twins, Jedediah and Jeremiah, and then announcements for Gracie, and then the 2 oldest twins. So she's got 2 sets of twins, Jana and John David's birthdays. Okay. So then I start looking and digging deeper because I'm like, well, this is weird, right? She literally has said happy birthday to everyone. Now, she did not say happy birthday to Josh, but she did share his pregnancy announcement when they were expecting their 6th kid. So not his pregnancy announcement, but with Anna was expecting their 6th kid. She did share a photo with Josh on her Instagram, and it was in the spring. But in 2019, the only time Jill showed up was during a party for Israel, which was hosted not at the Duggar house where almost all of the parties are held, but outside at a park. Completely different than the other parties that they have for the family. I went back and I tried to sort through all of her Instagram to find out when was the actual last time she publicly acknowledged her daughter in a post by herself, and it was May 23rd, 2017. Think about that. That's a really long time. And she's just saying, like, I'm so excited to have her home. And this would actually correspond with very, and then this next one. She was like, you see that in 2017, they were at Christmas, but she's not, like, they don't say her name. She's just in a family picture. And then she's in another family picture here, but nothing, like, no singled out here. They have a birthday party for Jim Bob in 2018, and Jill and Derek are nowhere to be seen. This was the only time in 2019 that Jill, and this was, like I said, Israel's birthday at a park with the family, because remember, he said that Jill is not actually allowed at the Duggar home unless Jim Bob says so. So that might explain why they had a birthday party for him at a park with all of her people there. And then this is the last time she's publicly said happy birthday to Jill. May 17th, 2017. Happy birthday, Jill. You're an excellent wife and a tender-hearted young mother. Think about that. She's had 2 birthdays this entire time, and she has not acknowledged her daughter's birthday. Meanwhile, she's acknowledged everybody else's birthdays, grandchildren's birthdays, not hers. And Derek is like, they don't even talk about him. So Derek's just like, they've already shunned Derek, but now the shunning has absolutely existing here with Jill. Which got me thinking. They decided in 2017, according to some articles I could dig out from, I was looking through some old archives on, I think it was Showbuzz, or no, Celebrity Cheat Sheet. And in the 2017, They said that the Duggars had effectively shunned Derek because Derek was making statements about them that were detrimental to their brand, and it just was too negative for their family. And this was around the same time he was making the comments about Jazz, but he was also being pretty vocal about Jim and other things related to the show. And so they said they effectively had shunned Derek at that point for speaking out and speaking up and whatever. And then by default, Jill gets shunned because they get kicked off TLC. And now the family is continuing on as though nothing has happened. But Derek is now saying the reason why all of that happened in 2017 was because Jill didn't want to be on a show after everyone had heard about what her brother had done to her. In that time, what I find pretty disgusting in all of this is Josh was kicked off of the show as well in 2015. But she still publicly acknowledges Josh all the time on her Instagram. Not as frequently as some of the other kids, but like births of babies, wedding anniversaries. She has a love letter on her website about happy birthday Josh, about what a great husband he is. He's invited to all the festivities. He's at everything. He's at Christmas. He's at Thanksgiving. He's at all the functions. But Jill's not. So in this world, if you're the girl that is the victim and you speak out and you don't want to be involved in something because the belief system is not favorable to you, you are shunned. You are not shunned if you are the boy who did those things. You are applauded. You are like lifted up. You are told you're an amazing person. You are told you're an amazing God-fearing father that's humble and kind and sweet. But none of those same things are said publicly about Jill. Now, I didn't bring up Jill's Instagram, but Jill's Instagram is interesting because she posts happy birthday messages to her mom and her dad this past year. The last photo she actually shared with her mother was in September when she ran into her at like a clothing event. But other than that, like Jill, I was looking through her Instagram. Her sisters rarely comment on her posts. Her mom never comments on her posts. The only person that consistently posts onto Jill's content is Anna, Josh's wife. The last time Jessa even so much as acknowledged her sister on Instagram by commenting was in November. And Jessa and Jill used to be extremely close. But then Jessa, this past winter, made a very public announcement by calling Jill, or Ginger, her best friend sister. It's very clear throughout all of these actions that not only are the sisters, or the parents shunning her, but the sisters are also somehow being influenced by this, and they're minimizing their social media activity with Jill because of that. It's so sad because Jill is probably the only one in this group that has the wherewithal to understand what happened. Since she has been public since Derek has been public, she's been doing things in the background, like sharing information about being in abusive relationships and resources for women that are in relationships that might be filled with DV. She has shared information on who to contact if you need to leave a husband that's doing these things. She has shared links to websites that talk about how some fundamental belief systems will make women feel as though they are less than a man, and so they stay because they think they have to. Anna will never leave Josh because she feels like she has to stay because they don't believe in divorce. It's not, Jill is doing things much more subtly than Derek, but she is using her voice in different ways. She has done things like they've discussed her working, they openly discussed using birth control. Like, Josh, on the other hand, he's got an open lawsuit for defrauding, purchasing some land, defrauding some guy. He's got an active investigation, apparently, for one of his businesses by the Department of Homeland Security. He's admitted to doing things to 4 of his sisters and a babysitter. And yet, he is still the golden child. It's so weird. It's so disgusting. It's just this patriarchal, like, fundamental, like, Fundy abusive system. And Jill is the only person in Jill's family that consistently calls her out and tells her she loves her is her cousin Amy. And Amy has been sharing a lot of things on Instagram lately about being kind to people that are going through things, helping people out of darkness. And maybe Amy right now is being that person to help Jill out of darkness as well. But at this point in time, it's telling. And they might have an easy explanation. Well, she's not on the show. And this is, a promotion for our show. At some point in time, your family should come first, and then your show should come second. And even if a child isn't included in the show, Jill still has a social media presence. She's not out of the media. She's everywhere. So that doesn't even buy that. I don't even buy that at this point. And therefore, as well, Jill never did anything publicly to hurt her parents. It was only Derek. And I love that they've made Derek the scapegoat here for his comments that he made, because they were atrocious. But you best believe every single person in that family feels the exact same way as Derek. Every one of them. They have the exact same feelings. They just don't say it because they have an image to maintain, an agenda to make, and money to make on the show. And they know if they make those statements publicly, TLC will fire them. But just because Derek said them doesn't mean that the rest of the family doesn't believe it, because they do. Because that's a part of their belief system too. So, if there is any question on whether or not Jill has been shunned, you can bet your bottom dollar. Girl has been shunned. Now, it might not be like she can't, communicate with them, but it's not as cozy and happy as it once was. I did reach out to Amy Duggar King, hoping that I could talk to her. I've reached out to Derek as well. I would still love to extend an open invitation to either one of them or Jill to talk with me. I would love to have them on the channel. I know they probably won't, but I do think this community would be a really open place for them to share their stories. I don't know that she ever will, but I hope that she knows that there's people out there that know what she's gone through, that know what's happening isn't okay, and that I know that I have a humongous community here on my channel of people that have gone through similar things. I have a subscriber named Jamie who left the Mennonite community and has experienced the exact same things as what Jill has gone through. And I know that I have a ton of others in this community that have the same story. So if you ever watch this, just know you're always welcome, and we would always welcome your story here. All right, so that's my public plea to them. All right, you guys. I know they might not have the balls, but if you keep on asking people, maybe they'll speak. All right, you guys. So that's what I have for now. Are you shocked that they've not posted at all about her? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? Tell me in the comments below. All right, you guys. I'll be back.